So moving on, part 2. Not really part 2, but some part of it, a continuation of it. Okay, so back to speaking English. So when I was in Form 1, Form 1 to 3. Form 1, I really don't have any friends. So I do have friends, but I just say hi, speak in Malay basically. With Chinese, yeah. When I was Form 1, I started to have mixed multiracial friends when compared to when I was Standard 1, Standard 2. When I was Form 4 until when I was in Standard, compared to when I was Standard 1, Standard 2, and Standard 3. So when I was in Standard 4, 5, 6, I don't really have any multiracial friends. I only, most of the friends in my class are Malay. So when I was in in Form 1, I moved to another school. I temporarily study in one school, in high school, in my village, in my maternal village. At that time, maybe about 1 year, almost 1 year. And at the end of the year, before the class closed, before the school, what do you call that? Cuti sekolah started. Period of school end, and for the breaks, for the end of year break. So at that time, about 1 month, I moved to another place. So I changed school also at the same time. I start to have a friend who consists of Chinese, Malay and Indians. But still, at Form 1, Form 2, I still speak in Malay. I don't know how well. Actually, we have a certain, what do you call it, clans of friends, maybe a circle of friends. Some of them in Malay, some of them Malays who speak Malay, some of them who are Malay, but they do speak English among them. They speak English in Malay among us, they speak Malay among us. But when they start to speak to another races, I'm not trying to be racist, but just to explain my story. So when they speak to English pula, they speak to a Chinese person, they speak in English. They speak to Indian friends, they speak in English. But for us, most of us who are Malay, it is like automatically the Chinese will speak Malay to you. So at one point, I started to, I don't know how and what makes and motivate me. So I started to speak English. Slow by time, by day. I mix it in between Malay and English, and then I started to speak English fully. Once they are comfortable with me, they automatically speak English with me once they talk to me. It seems like, I don't know, kind of like culture of circle to speak in English. So once they are comfortable with you to speak English, they will go English with you. Some of them are banana, some of them are coconut, but not of them, all of them like that. So they did speak their native language among them, their mother language. Okay. But then I changed to high school. I transferred to high school where we are consist of no Chinese, no Indians. So I revert back to speak in Malay among my friends. But I don't have an issue to speak English actually. Only that to be accustomed to speak English among friends is quite difficult when you are in same races, Malay and Malay. Hardly to speak in English. But yeah, when I tell you there are those who speak English, it's like we all have this kind of circle of standard. Those who look like and are living with expensive. Like the background comes from expensive. Rich families, they do speak English among them. They do speak English and speak Malay among us. Of course, they are humble, but you can see the difference there. I don't know why, but this culture had happened in my school, in my places back then. But I didn't feel discriminated among them. I think my siblings, some of them are experiencing it differently from me. So I cannot speak on their behalf, on my siblings' behalf. So back to my speaking. So when I was in Form 6 and Form 5, I do Form 5, Form 6, silap. When I was in Form 4 and Form 5, I do speak Malay totally most of the time. And then we went to Egypt. I went to Egypt to study. Yes, basically speaking Malay all of the time, most of the time. Even I'm a rich and not so rich person. So we all, okay, in races, majority all are Muslim. So I'm not sure about non-Muslim. Even for Egyptian, there are those who are non-Muslim, but we all speak English or speak Arabic. A little bit Arabic, but most of the time we go English because my program was international program. So our learning language mainly 80% English. We only during lecture also it all come in English. Only that during clinical time, clinical class, you are involving with a patient. You need to talk with patient. You will speak in their language, native language, in Arabic. There we talk in Islam Fusha. Alamak lupa. Lama tak cakap Arab. We speak in Amiyah, like that. Amiyah. I think I'm not good in the vocab, in the grammar, in the Nahu, but I still can speak a little, just for understanding. Yeah, it's like only dusty everywhere already, because I didn't practice it anymore. Okay, so that's about it. So for the past 6 years there, I do speak English because we speak English in with our professor and lecturers. We do speak English during our examination and presentation. We didn't go by mixed language. Like Malay love to do Manglish, right? Just like Singlish. So, but when we are there, we actually do not speak. Literally, we didn't speak at all, like Malay English kind of word. We go English most of the time, 90% to 99% of the time. And then, it happened that after 6 years come back here in Malaysia, the touch is still there. We do speak English, not so much. I don't have anyone to practice English most of the time. So when I get angered, when I discuss with my mom, I got angered with my siblings, when the temper is there, the anger threshold is there, you suddenly can speak English fluently. It happened like that. Like I told before, when you are angry, suddenly you can speak English fluently, or you just go automatically in English. I think it sounds like a little bit upstandard, more formal, and you can convey your word much easier. So that's about it, partly about English until then. But then when I go to 9 months, I only like tanam anggur. Most of the time I didn't do any like part-time work or anything, so I stay at home, play games and everything. So when I started to work in HKL, become a housemate at that time, I cannot say much, but then we practice English most of the time. So as a houseman for the past 3 years to 2 years, about 1 to 2 years like that, I do speak fully English during rounds and everything. But when I come to my practice, where I did practice as a medical officer, we go revert back into mixing Malay and English. And recently, I just did attachment to Hospital Malacca. They all go by English, which reminds me of my time in HKL. But yeah, we do speak mixed English here, and we also actually during presentation sometimes we do speak mixed English. Even when we ask questions, sometimes also same thing. When we present to our boss, also same thing. So apparently I have become cultured by the culture. That is how my English goes. Yeah, I didn't speak fluent English, but I still can speak English. That's about it. Yeah. How about you? You have a story such as that? Would you like to share to me?